I'm Sean Bose, concert visual designer in Los Angeles, California. Today, we're talking to Joris De Jong. Joris is a VJ and software developer based in the Netherlands. He was a core member of the Resolume team from 2009 to 2019 when he went freelance. He develops a collection of beloved VJ tools, including Chaser and Stageflow, which you can find at his website, hybridconstructs.com. He also continues to work on productions with household names of the industry like EYESUPPLY, 250K, KBK, really anyone who has an interesting and unique idea. He's ready to jump in and help make it awesome. I'm incredibly honored to speak with him today. Joris, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. The honor is all mine.
So I have never really had any kind of affinity or talent for coding. So I think that segment of your expertise is really fascinating. Can you start by telling us how you got started out with software development?
I started pretty young. I was probably, looking back, a huge nerd. I like to think myself as a normal kid, but probably a huge nerd. So I had a Commodore 64 when I was like 8 years old. And I taught myself programming on that. You had like books that taught you the syntax. And I did some stuff with that, made like text adventures and stupid kid stuff. I grew up and got into parties and going to raves and stuff like that. And one time we found an old Commodore 64. And like I was into the whole warehouse rave thing, illegal house parties. So it was very DIY, very anything goes. And we found this Commodore 64. And I was like, hey, I know how to do some stuff with that. And I made this program that just put randomly colored squares on the screen in random positions. And it was like, okay, let's put this in an area somewhere and just leave it for the night. And then we came back in the morning and we found this kid who was just like glued to the screen. And we were like, oh, so he's been here all night. And his friends were like, yeah, we couldn't get him away from it. Like he's stuck. And I'm like, this is interesting. Maybe I should do some more of this. And yeah, that's how coding and visuals and parties became a thing.
Wow, that is incredible. That's so awesome. You hypnotized a raver with a Commodore 64, just on the fly. Much. Wow. Where did you go from there? You kind of found this moment of inspiration and merged a few of these passions together. What happened next?
Well, a lot of parties happened. A lot of fun stuff happened. I did keep on like sticking computers in the speaker stack and like do stuff with visuals. But around 2005, I sort of felt like, okay, maybe I can't do this my whole life. And maybe I should learn to do something and make a living with something. And I did a course at SAE, which is the School for Audio Engineering. They're worldwide as well. And they had a filmmaking course. So I did that course, and that taught me like Final Cut, After Effects, all the film and video making tools. And that set me on the path of motion design. I guess what a lot of VJs, a lot of visual-oriented people go through. Just the motion design stuff, doing motion graphic work, doing editing work. And that brought some money on the table. And at the same time, that also moved me towards living in Amsterdam and going to parties that weren't strictly illegal and that did have budgets and that did have projectors. So slowly started doing proper VJ gigs. And yeah, that's how it became a living.
What happened between starting to VJ and like getting in touch with the Resolume and starting to work with them?
Your questions are awesome, man. Like you're filling in the gaps. Like it's like I tend to meander all over the place, but because this ties in like really well. Oh, this is funny. Actually, I was using VDMX at the time, and I was doing a lot of stuff with Quartz Composer, which probably the young kids don't know it anymore, but this was like sort of like what Wire is today back then, which was a Mac-only 3D node-based programming tool. And VDMX has great support for it. So I was doing a lot of Quartz Composer stuff using VDMX, and I made some tutorials for it. If you search deep in my internet history, you'll probably find a few of them. And the Resolume guys, Bart and Edwin, wanted to add the Quartz Composer support to Resolume because they had just made the move from being PC only to also having the Mac version, the Resolume 3. So we were in touch for the workshops, and they saw like, oh, hey, you're doing these Quartz Composer things. Do you want to come to the office and show us how VDMX does this and what the options are and how to integrate it? And we worked on that a bit. And then they added that as a feature in their software. And they asked, hey, can you make a tutorial for us where you show how it works in Resolume? And that became probably the first thing I did for them. And then they were like, well, can you make a tutorial for the Flash integration that they still had at the time? So I made tutorial that, and then they were like, oh, we're introducing this new feature, and then more and more and more tutorials for them. And then, hey, can you maybe answer a few questions on the forums with people that are having troubles with this? And I was like, yeah, sure. I'm a nerd. I'm on the internet the whole day anyway. And then after a while, they said like, okay, you want to come do this full time with us? And I'm like, well, let me think about this for 2 seconds. Yes. Like the scene that we're in, like the live performance, the EDM big stages scene, that is, for us, that is everything. That is all we do.
What advice do you have for somebody who is getting into this type of world that might help them be successful?
Stay true to what you're doing. Because like the way I got started at Resolume, which was my big break, was because I was just making tutorials on using Quartz Composer and VDMX because I thought that was super cool and not enough people were using it. And I was just like, I had nothing to gain by it. I just started doing it. Like, hey, if you do it like this and this, it'll bounce to the beat. That's awesome. You should use that in your shows. And I had no ulterior motive. I didn't want to make money with it. And that's sort of the thing that got the ball rolling for me. So, yeah, like do what you love and the universe will conspire to make it happen for you.
This whole story has been sort of just an unfolding from those early moments of I'm gonna make things that I think are interesting on my own, and I'm going to share the things that I think are interesting with the world. And then you become a teacher, a support person, a person making these tools and sharing them with people. And here you are making some pretty awesome shit for a lot of people. So, wow. Thank you so much, Joris. This has been really great. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
I want to take a moment and thank you for doing this because like I really love your channel. I've watched pretty much all the interviews, and I think it's really, really important that this exists, because when we listen to other VJs and what they talk about and how they do things, like we start developing a language that we can sort of build off on and improve ourselves. Otherwise, we keep on learning the advanced output over and over and over again. And I think it's important that we also move beyond that and get people's views on why they do something and keep on doing that. So please stick with that because it's awesome.
If you like this clip, be sure to check out the playlist of all of the full interview episodes, and make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Thanks for watching. Peace.